So in this class, we are going to discuss about software prototyping. Okay. So we have studied in the SDLC model also that there is one type of model known as the software prototype or it's a prototype, right? So we know prototype is nothing but a functional model, a normal working model with some limited functionality. Okay, so we are clear about the prototyping concept. It is basically a working model with limited functionality. That is, it will be the same software, but with the less number of features and which will perform less functions. So the prototype does not hold the exact logic used in the actual software application and is an extra effort to be considered under effort estimation. See, it's like the prototype is something made to understand the user requirement. Okay, what the user wants the developers, what the user wants. So that is why whatever they say, based on that they develop the software and give to the customer to use it. If they are okay with it, then they continue. Okay, otherwise, so that is why in that case it is basically made to understand the logic, so sorry, to understand the user requirement. That is why the exact logic used in the uh, original software may be far different from that used in the prototype. So it is just made to understand the user requirements at the initial stage. Also, this prototyping is used to allow the users evaluate and okay, allow the users evaluate developer proposals and try them out before implementation. Obviously, before like a software is all like deployed in the market, is available in the market, a prototype, you get a hands-on experience on the prototype, like how the software will look like, how the functionality will work. Some people are facing network issue today. Okay, no problem. Okay, now it also helps us, as I told you the first point, it helps in understanding the user requirements. Okay, so there are few phases in the software prototyping. We have studied this prototyping method in SDLC, I know, but there are few phases are there. This is a process, or it's a basically a process. So first we identify the initial requirements. Okay, then this is the four stages. Then developing the initial software prototype, and then review of the prototype, and then we will revise and enhance the prototype. Now let's check. So first is the identifying the initial requirements. So here what will happen, as I mentioned, whenever the clients give the requirement, the company, the higher team members, maybe the senior members or the business analysts, what they do, they decide like okay, what the user want, what kind of software it will be, how it will work, and like who will be the user of the system, like is defined in this, identified in this stage. That is, identify initial requirements. What are the requirement of the stage? Now once this is finalized, like what the system will do, then how it will work, what features need to be added, just a bit of it. Once it is understood who will be the users of it, then that moves to the next stage, that is the developing the initial prototype. Now, based on the understanding of the initial requirement, the developer, what they do, they consider the requirement and then they develop the prototype. They develop a working prototype and they give it to the user to use it, whether they are satisfied or not. So it is possible that the developed product may be far different from the original product. This is just based on the initial understanding they develop the prototype. Okay, later on it may be like it may look differently and it will work differently, but just to understand, they give an environment, whatever the customer had mentioned, they gave the environment to the customer. Okay, this is what you wanted, now you check whether this is the product you really wanted or not. So they get an environment of it. Okay, they get a working environment without actually like owning the software, they have the software for now. Next, the customer, what they will do, they will review the system. okay, no, I wanted some different features, but this is the created one, like it's different from the one I desired. So they give on the, like they use it to the, like the customer now review it, they use it. Okay, once you use, you find all the faults, the functionalities, like if there is any additional features you want, or this features was not wanted by you. So this kind of things, this this kind of things are reviewed by in the prototype, in the next phase. This is the third phase in the software prototyping. And the last one, that is the revised one, that is once your like customer have given their feedback to the developers, there are last is the revised one or the enhancer prototype. The based on the customer feedback, now lots of things will be discussed. Either the, like this model, this prototype will be enhanced, whether new features will be added to it, or like they are satisfied, then they can try to convert the model into the original software. Then there will be, because everything like involves cost, right? When will the original software be developed exactly? Because prototype is just an initial stage. Okay, we need to create a, like a original software do take some, like it will involve some cost, it will involve some time, right? They need to think about it from the actual, so whether it will be feasible or not. And then later what happens, once it is developed and the customer is like satisfied with the product, then until and unless the customer is satisfied with the product, this software prototyping process is whatever fourth process, like initial requirement, and then the what we say developing the prototype, and then review and revise. This review and revise will keep on going, that is the iterative process. So this is the entire process of software prototyping, starting from the initial requirements, where the, like they have a clear basic understanding of what the software will do, how it will look like, and then what like who will be the users of the system. And then the developers, based on the understanding, develop the prototype, initial prototype, that just give a gist of like the original software, but maybe far different from the original software, right? Then the customer use that software prototype, so that they get an environment of working in the original software. And then based on the feedback, whether they like it or not, they make it, they modify the software. So this entire process is known as software prototyping. Now there are like various types, there are various types of software prototyping methods are okay, are there. Okay, so this prototype I have discussed here for, like what will be done to the software after the prototype, after it is like developed. Once it is like verified by the customer and he is like happy with the project, whether that software will be like totally discarded, and then a new software will be built, or like for that prototype only will be original, like converted into the original software, basically depends on this types of software prototyping. So there are many types of software prototyping, but we'll be discussing only four, the main major for one. Okay, so first is the throwaway or rapid prototyping. So as the name suggests, throwaway or rapid prototyping, that is based on the initial requirements of the customer, a software is developed, a prototype is developed. Now just to get the understanding of the like user, okay, whether the user is like, what is the understanding, once it is developed, once the like the user requirements are understood, what it is done, this entire thing is thrown away, the prototype is thrown away. Then based on the clear, and because they have now the clear understanding of the user requirement, they will build a like original software now, with the clear understanding. So it will involve now minimum effort. Okay, because they just developed it in the initial product, they got the initial they understood the user requirement, and then they just discarded the model and they will just do it again. Okay, start all over it again. So that is why it is known as rapid rapid prototyping too. Throwaway prototyping is also known as rapid, because it is developed then and there. Okay, or it is also known as close ended. Why close ended? Because there is no involvement of the customer and the developer. The customer is set, then the customer mentioned his requirement that I want the software, and then the developer, they develop the product, develop the prototype for it. They do not have repeated discussion like, okay, just show the product and everything. So just to get the understanding of it, they draw, like build that prototype. So obviously, when such kind of prototype is made to understand the user requirement, obviously very much little effort is required, because that obviously the developer knows that that prototype will anyway will be discarded, will not work on this. That is why, okay, um, that is why this is done with minimum effort. So cost is also clear. So once the actual requirement, when it is discarded, once the actual requirements are understood. So that was all about throw away or rapid prototyping. Next is evolutionary prototyping. So this prototyping method is also known as breadboard prototyping. So here what happens, like like based on the actual functionality of the system, so with minimal feature, this prototype is first developed. Okay, then what happens, this prototype, with because it prototype it contains a limited features, then the customer review it, and then if they want more additional features, they add it, keep on adding. Ultimately what happens is it keeps off increment, it keeps on incrementing. That means this prototype will not be discarded at the end, but this prototype will only serve as the final product. But how? After its final version, additional features have been added. So that is why we get a well understood requirement in the prototype, and that requirements are added, keep on adding, right? So here effort is needed for the last prototype, throwaway prototype, what we develop just a minimum with a prototype is developed to understand the user requirements. That is why, but here we understand the user requirements, we develop the product and gives it to the user to use it. Now based on the feedback, okay, we want some additional, this is okay, but we want some additional features. Okay, so then we can go for this one, we can go for evolutionary prototyping. Suppose you can think of the WhatsApp type. Okay, WhatsApp, it first if we go for the texting, first initially developed for texting and emoticons were there, few emoticons were there. Later, okay, we said that this is okay. Now I want to also add voice call to it, so that anyone can call over without using normal phone, we can call over WhatsApp. So that features were added. Later, one more, we can attach files or normal document video. So it's that these features were added one by one. So you can take, but that is a final software. With the WhatsApp was not replaced, it was not replaced from beginning, from the scratch. So that is why it is known as the evolutionary. It keeps on evolving. So that is why it is known as evolutionary. Next is incremental. So now here incremental, here we create in small modules, and separate units we create, different types of prototypes we create, and then we integrate it together. That is why it is like portion we do it, and then we integrate it, and that is why it is known as incremental prototyping. Okay, that to have a view of the complete system. Here also we don't throw it. Suppose we first create the small unit, and then again we create the second unit. This way we create, and then later we merge it together. That is integrate, and that becomes a final software. So that is known as incremental prototyping. And the last one we have this extreme prototyping. So this is not so important. The other three is very important, but this is just for you to know that this is basically used for the web development domain. So any web-based project you have, any database project, so you have this extreme prototyping, where we first create all the, I think you people got the HTML in your first sem. So you studied HTML, so you're aware of it. So all the HTML pages are created. Okay, a basic prototype, and then what we do, we finally implement. That is, we write some coding. First the forms are created, and then we implement some coding, maybe PHP, and then we do it to give a functional page. First, only the static page is created. Okay, all the static page is created, and later we add the functionality, that when we add the name, that it should move to the database. So this is the extreme prototyping. But other threes are important, but this is not so much. So you just web development prototyping is there. So It was there, so I just told you about it. And next, moving to the like advantages of prototyping. So obviously, this prototyping method, software prototyping, it involves a customer from the very beginning of the software creation. That is why customer involvement is there, right, in the product. So that is even before its implementation. Obviously, when they're understanding the product, its involvement is there. Now, obviously, when you have a working model of the system, like you are using that system, you get a better understanding like how your software look like, your original software, you have a better understanding of them, right? Obviously, and this understanding the customer requirement is very important, and it's very difficult to understand. Some people are really complex to understand. So that is why having a prototype, you going through a prototyping process may help to like reduce the time and cost, as the defects can be detected. Like what if you're using it, you know that okay, you found an error here, so you are already aware of it. Obviously, quicker user feedback is available. Yes, people client is involved, so that is why feedback is already involved. Then missing functionality can be identified easily because you are using the system. Since you are using the product, so you know it, right? You have already have an idea. And the last is confusing or difficult functions can be identified. The same thing, the explanation is same because you are using the product. And let's move down. Now, let's check what are the disadvantages are there. So risk of insufficient requirement analysis. So obviously, when you have a prototype, you give the customer. So in that case, there is a risk. Okay, the risk is there, but it's not a like certain that okay there will be requirement analysis problem, that the requirement has not been analyzed properly. It's not so. Okay, so it may be such that proper requirement analysis was not done, and with a like in throwaway, we just to get the understanding we give it like to give it, but proper analysis should be done, right? In that case, so there is a risk involved in it. So and people like since you users may be anyone, right? So people may be confused about the prototype and the actual software. Okay, so because I told you like the actual software may be far different from the or like prototype. So not in every case, but some cases. Okay, so that it's like a user may get confused with the system. So that like this methodology may increase the complexity of the system. Yes, because it keeps on you develop one product prototype, now then again you will be developing the what you will like next software. So it is a complexity. Like if you can create a one software that only you can modify, that is okay. But if you keep on repeating building the software, throwing away, then on adding some features, so that is things like it's a very complex thing. Okay, so developers may try to reuse the existing prototypes to build the actual system, even if like it is not feasible. Suppose we know in some software like the prototype was developed, but the but the user wanted just completely different work, completely different software. But the developer like without this, okay, who will develop from scratch? Now let me work on the prototype. So it's not like it will not be any effect for you, right? So it is, if it is not technically feasible, we cannot develop from scratch, right? So we have to develop for scratch, so that is why. And the effort invested in building prototypes may be too much. So obviously, and see, if you know that without, if you understand the user requirements properly, because we have different models, so without preparing the model only, we can use those model. Like we have agile, right? We keep on from the in the same model only, we keep on changing. Why to develop a like prototype? Why to waste time? So it is very difficult to monitor also. Okay, so if you, it's like possible to develop one product, then it's we should go for that one only. Now tell me any confusion anywhere. Yes, Junmani, yes, Junmani. Did which one? I am not hearing you. Can you be just like loud? Which part? Which part? From start. Okay. The phases or the prototype? Just tell me. See, okay, okay. I'll just give brief review of everything. Just just what we studied in today's class. So basically, we know what is software prototyping. A prototype is something which is a working model with limited functionality. Okay, so why do we create a prototype? So that we understand the user requirements, and the users the developers created to understand the user requirements, because sometimes it is not possible to analyze the user requirements. It's very difficult. Like whatever the user mentioned, they are they did not mention it clearly. So and the user developers don't know what to do. In that case, this what did the developers, they go for this prototyping method, where first they whatever they understood, for based on the understanding, they develop a model. Okay, they develop a model and ask the user to use it. Okay, check like whether are you do you want such kind of system or not. Then the user use it, and if he is satisfied, okay, I want this kind of system, then the developer keeps on working on that. Okay, he develop, okay, and he will add for functionalities, and then he will add features to it. Again, he will review. So based on that review, then the customer, that developer, because they have a better understanding of the product now. Okay, but so for these stages, okay, there are few stages involved in prototyping. So first is the in identify the initial requirements. So what does this mean? Means first the company, the publisher, which are the company have taken the project, they will decide like who will be the user of this system, because that is very important. Like suppose we have our college ERP. Now who will be the users? Like obviously students is one kind of users, and a faculty is one kind of users, manage office staff is one kind of users, admin is one kind of user. So there are how many types of users should be there, what are the permissions which should be assigned to them, how the screen should look like. So they have a initially they should have an idea, like who will how the what the system will do and how it will work like. Okay, they have an idea, and based on that idea, the developers, what they do, just wait, the developers build the prototype. Okay, whatever they understood. Okay, then they will just provide just a normal graphical user interface to the user. Okay, use the product. Okay, then the customer, what they will do, they will review the system. They will review, and okay, if they are not happy, or they will give their feedback that okay, which part if there are at detects or the defects are there, or they have detected some bugs, or they know they want some additional features, this was not the product they wanted. So then they give the review, and what they do, this developers then revise on that review and try to modify. And if and this process is repeated until and unless the customer is satisfied with the product. Once the customer is okay, yes, this kind of software I want, now they will think of the types of prototyping methods. So there are basically types of prototyping methods. First is a throwaway. So what happens is after these phases are over, like all these phases, 4 phases I just discussed. So it is phases are over. In throwaway, what it does, it's like discard that model. It totally discards that model and try make build a fresh model again with the original software. Okay. So that was like based on the initial, to understand the usual user requirement only. It was develop. Later it will start from scratch, right? Everything, a new software will be okay. We got no, understood that what the developer wants. Now they can develop their original software. Okay, that may look completely different from the uh, prototype develop. Okay, next is, just wait, two people are waiting. Next is the evolutionary prototyping. So in evolutionary prototyping, what happens is you created a prototype with limited feature, and then you what happened, you created software with limited feature, but you take bit, you spend some effort on it. You okay, you understood that part of the requirement properly, what the customer said, you created that part only, and the customer uses it, and he wants, no, I want some more features, I want this feature. Like I gave you an example of the WhatsApp. Like before only we wanted something for only like we can texting. Okay, that was developed, the customer was using it and thought, no, we can like add more features, like we can uh, we need to attach files to someone, so that features was added. So later what happened, other features like videos were added at video calls, then normal audio calls were added. So what happens, this, like the initial model, the initially what was developed only for texting, but later it kept on evolving, it kept on modifying, so that on that software only, the original, the on the simple prototype became the original software. So this kind of prototyping is known as the evolutionary, where we keep the prototype only. Okay, we don't throw away. Next is the increment. So increment is like something we create in small units. So one part you understood well. Different units are there, right, in a project. So we understand the product. Now it's whatever is wanted, we understand. We created it. Then the customer uses it. Okay, then he will get, okay, now I want some different products. So they will also, that unit is also created. And later what happens? They integrate it, all of them together. Okay, once they create, they integrate it. And the last is the extreme prototyping. So in extreme prototyping, it's basically used for the web development or any web pages. So what happens? So you create first in HTML, you create the forms. Now you have a static forms, like which is doing nothing, just a for show only, right? You have a text field name as a text field, then you have an email which takes as the email. So that is why, but it's not working properly. Later, once all the forms are ready, you can just integrate it and implement it together, like integrate all of them, and then you can add some programming, you can add designs, and you can have a view of it. Okay, you can just modify the user interface. So this was all about the software prototyping. Clear? And advantages, disadvantages, you can go through it. Anyone not clear? Okay, so let me take the attendance and stop sharing. So this was a small topic I want to discuss today. Yes. हाँ, बोलो. मॉड्यूल 2 में पढ़ा रही हूँ, खत्म नहीं हुआ अभी तक. ऐसा कुछ नहीं, वो तुम्हारे ऊपर है, मैं सिर्फ समझा रही हूँ टॉपिक, तो अगर समझ अपने आप लिखो, ऐसा कुछ मेरा वाला ही लिखना है ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, जहां से मिलता है वहां से लिखो, तुम्हारा वो पॉइंट भी है. समझ में आया? हाँ, इट्स ओके, लाइक यू हैव द फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, एवरीथिंग, जस्ट फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग पर्पस. ओके, थैंक यू एवरीवन.